Janmabhoomi case, ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court will hear pleas filed by the Mosque committee against a May 2023 order of the Allahabad High Court transferring the clutch of suits over the ongoing dispute when it comes to the status of the Mathura Mosque. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the High Court was told that when it comes to this entire case surrounding this dispute of this case, there is the Hindu character of the entire site has to be ascertained, and now what we have seen is that the court has also is going to appoint 3 commissioners on the 18th of December when it comes to the survey. I'm joined by my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar. Ananya, give us the details.
So, Lovely, what is very clear at this point in time is that the Supreme Court has asked, Mr. Ahmadi, who was appearing for the Muslim side, to actually inform the High Court that, the Supreme Court will be hearing that matter on the 9th of January. But what is very, very clear, and we could see from the observation that it happened, was that, the Supreme Court was not inclined to say that the matter. And per se, having there at this point of time, to hold its, hand until the Supreme Court actually hears it, and that would be the until and
Right, so that's the latest coming in when it comes to the legal tussle surrounding the Mathura Krishna Janmabhoomi case in Mathura, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, what we got was a very landmark ruling from the court, which has now said that 3 commissioners will be appointed by the court. The appointment will take place around 18th of December when it comes to surveying the entire site. Now, the Hindu side claims that when it comes to the Hindu character of the entire site, it has to be ascertained. But the Muslim side is always bringing up the Places of Worship Act, saying that, there is no claim from the Hindu side when it comes to the character of this place. But this legal tussle continues, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the religious status of this site. Remember, many historical records have pointed out that Aurangzeb raised a grand Krishna temple at this site to set up the Idgah Mosque. I'm joined by my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar, who's back with us on the broadcast. Ananya, please continue what you were saying.
Well, Ayushman, what is very, very important to note is that, no kind of a formal stay has been granted by the Supreme Court. But what has been asked by the Supreme Court to Mr. Ahmadi is that he should inform the Allahabad High Court that, the Supreme Court will be hearing this particular matter on the 9th of January when the Supreme Court reopens. If you remember, the Supreme Court has last working day today, and post this winter vacations will begin. So all the matters are now, being posted to January. So it has been asked by the Supreme Court to inform the Allahabad High Court that, since the Supreme Court will be hearing this matter, the High Court might, hold its hand for the time being. And in fact, at this point of time, this might be a little relief, but no kind of a formal stay has been granted by the Supreme Court in this particular case. No kind of a stay order has been given out by the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court was also very, very clear that, though it is a very, very preliminary stage, and until and unless the Supreme Court actually hears the matter completely, it cannot actually go into if a stay has to be granted or not. And that's exactly why the Supreme Court just asked Mr. Ahmadi to inform the High Court that, the matter will be heard on the 9th of January. So the battle has again reached the Supreme Court if we take our viewers through it. And very, very clearly and categorically, the matter was already before, the main suit is already before the Supreme Court, wherein earlier orders of the Allahabad High Court had been challenged, and now this fresh order which has been passed by the Allahabad High Court to hold the Advocate Commissioner survey at that particular disputed site of the Shahi Idgah and Krishna Janmabhoomi dispute site is something that has now also been challenged before the topmost court of the country. This was being heard by a bench headed by Justice Sanjeev Khanna and Justice Asriyan Bhatti. That, at this point of time, no kind of a stay is there, but definitely the High Court shall be informed that the Supreme Court will be hearing this, and then the High Court can actually hold its hands for some time.
Right, but Ananya, decode this for us. So as you're pointing out, the Supreme Court will hear on January 9th the pleas of the Muslim side against the Allahabad High Court order directing the Advocate Commissioner survey. Now what we are learning is that on the 18th of December is where those 3 commissioners are likely to be appointed. Between 18th of December and the 9th of December, can any survey activities take place at the site?
Well, see, there is stay order that is operating at this point of time. But surely, since the Supreme Court has made a request to the Allahabad High Court, and Mr. Ahmadi would be informing the High Court as well that with regards to this, there might be a chance that the High Court would also delay its proceedings and might not appoint or at least start that particular service. We'll have to wait and watch for that, which the High Court's call at this point of time, because no kind of a formal stay order has been passed. But definitely, since it has been a request by the Supreme Court itself, the Allahabad High Court might consider this and would stay proceedings for a short while. So the stay has to be at this point and also operated, to be sought from the Allahabad High Court only because the Supreme Court is at this point of time not passing a formal order for stay, but has requested the High Court that since it is going to hear the matter on January 9th, then, the High Court should hold its hands for quite some time.
Absolutely. The legal tussle continues, but at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, there is no setback to the Hindu side because the Supreme Court has not put a stay on the order for a survey at the Krishna Janmabhoomi site. Remember, the Hindu side claims that the religious character of this entire site has to be ascertained. The Supreme Court has not put a stay on the survey. Remember, yesterday, the Allahabad High Court gave the order that there should be a court-monitored survey, and on the 18th of December, that is when those three court monitors, the commissioners, when it comes to the survey, are likely to be picked. But the Supreme Court has said there is no stay on the survey so far, but the clutch of Muslim petitions when it comes to the survey, because the Muslim side has opposed the entire survey saying it could hamper the religious character of the Idgah Mosque. That hearing will take place in the top court on the 9th of January. So the question remains, will there be any survey activities between the 18th of December and the 9th of January? That is the big question. At the same time, the Muslim side's plea will be heard by the top court when it comes to the entire religious character of the Krishna Janmabhoomi side. That hearing will take place on the 9th of January. But a booster for the Hindu side because the survey has not been stayed. Ananya continues to be with us on the broadcast. So Ananya, take us through the arguments of the Muslim side when it comes to the Allahabad High Court's order calling for a court-monitored survey, and on the 18th of December, as we were pointing out, the commissioners are likely to be picked.
If you remember, Aishman, this matter had been there before the Allahabad High Court and the Supreme Court. This had actually started with a plea being filed at the Mathura district court, you remember. And then various other suits were also filed with regards to, how it was the claim by the deity itself that, this is the worship of Lord Krishna, and that's exactly why the Sri Krishna Janmabhoomi temple should be there. And the Shahi Mosque is something that has been built over the remains of that particular temple after destroying that temple.
The High Court will fix the modalities as to who all is going to be in the survey, what will be the timing of the survey, and what will be the members who will be going in the survey commission. All these things will be decided by the Allahabad High Court on 18th of December.
Yes, so this was Vishnu Jain telling Times Now that
आज शाही ईदगाह मामले में जो कल ऑनरेबल इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने आदेश पारित किया था एडवोकेट कमिश्नर का अपॉइंटमेंट का, उस आदेश को आज वर्चुअली शाही ईदगाह मस्जिद ने और सुन्नी सेंट्रल वक्फ बोर्ड ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चुनौती दी थी बिना कोई प्रॉपर एसएलपी के, और उन्होंने सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने डिमांड की थी कि इस मैटर पे स्टे लगा दिया जाए, इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट की प्रोसीडिंग्स पे स्टे लगा दिया जाए, जिसको आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सिरे से इनकार कर दिया। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि ये मैटर 9 जनवरी के लिए निर्धारित है, हम उसी दिन इसको सुनेंगे, और इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट अगर कोई आदेश पारित करता है और आप उससे एग्रीव्ड है तो आप उसके खिलाफ जो आपकी अप्रोप्रिएट रेमेडीज है उस पर आ सकते हैं। पर स्पष्ट रूप से सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि जो कल इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने आदेश पारित किया है वो हमारे सामने है भी नहीं, आपने उसको चैलेंज भी नहीं किया है, बिना ऑर्डर देखे हुए हम उसको कैसे स्टे कर सकते हैं, और इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने स्टे लगाने से मना कर दिया। See, the Shahi Idgah Masjid and Sunni Central Waqf Board had challenged the order passed by the Honorable Allahabad High Court for appointment of Advocate Commissioner before the Honorable Supreme Court today, and they sought for a stay of the proceedings before the Allahabad High Court. The Honorable Supreme Court has refused to stay the proceedings, and the Honorable Supreme Court has fixed the matter so far as challenge to the transfer order is concerned on 9th of January.
And they have allowed them to approach Supreme Court again?
The Supreme Court has not said that they have allowed them to approach the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has said that they are free to, they have the liberty to challenge the order passed by the Allahabad High Court as per law. So whether the matter will go before the division bench of the Allahabad High Court or the Supreme Court will be advised by the councils of Shahi Idgah Masjid.
So the High Court order will continue?
Yes, the High Court order will continue and the High Court will proceed with the matter, and there is no stay by the Honorable Supreme Court.